My friend, and of course, the president of the Special Chamber of Commerce of Puerto Rico, Act 60, Act 22, Act 20, Act 22, and Act 60 Special Committee, Miss Annie Mustafa. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. Hi, my name is Annie Mustafa. I'm the president of the Act 20-2260 Special Committee of the Puerto Rico Chamber of Commerce, and on behalf of our president, Juan Carlos Agosto, it's a pleasure to have you all join us by Zoom in this special event, which is also part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week that started this week, in fact, today. So welcome not only those new to cryptocurrency and blockchain, but also from Puerto Rico. We have a large people interested from Puerto Rico and also all around the world. It's a pleasure to be part of the co-host event, the first one of hopefully many others. And I want to thank all of our panelists, as well as Pedro, for putting together this great event. I would like now to introduce our Secretary of the Department of Economic Development, Honorable Manuel Laboy, that will be having some remarks for you today. Thank you. Welcome, Secretary.
Thank you, Annie.
Welcome, Mr. Laboy.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. We have the proper protocols here, so I'm going to take my mask off, although it's always important to say that I am from the great city of Ponce, Puerto Rico. So for those that are listening, it's not only San Juan and Dorado, there's the South too, all right?
We love the island entirely. This island is beautiful. From all the way in Maya West, all the way to Saba. Beautiful.
Yes, that is true. And I had to say that since I've been in this role 4 years, amazingly, one of the key public policies for economic development is precisely to have a wide impact, 78 municipalities, 100 miles by 35 miles, island-wide. That has been always our goal. What a journey. I said I've been in this role for 4 years, and it's been quite a journey, I have to say. But very blessed for being the Secretary for Economic Development and Commerce for this beautiful island of Puerto Rico. And despite of the challenges, I still believe that Puerto Rico is a great place, one of the best places to invest, to do business. Yes, challenges and difficulties, but I think that we're going to overcome them. And there's just plenty of opportunities and great tools to achieve those goals. A couple of things that I wanted to share with you. Number one, we have an incredible performance of two of our most important programs associated with economic development, previously known as Act 20 of 2012, Act 22 of 2012 also, now part of the new incentives code. Just to give you an idea, over the last 4 years, we've been able to approve more than 1,700 tax decrees for Act 20 and 2,200 decrees for Act 22 in the last 4 years, despite of hurricanes, political crisis,
Earthquakes,
and now COVID-19. So I think that it is a testament of how powerful these tools are. Number one. Number two, I think that many of you know that we and we published a study in, I think it was November 2019, which was an update of a previous study about why Act 20 and Act 22 are important tools for economic development. Very, very simple to summarize it. The average salary of those activities that are considered export services under the law is around $35,000, way above the median in Puerto Rico. So these are well-paying jobs, number one. Number two, the total amount of capital investment associated with export services in the last 4 or 5 years is around $1.2 billion, only related to export services. So we're talking about real investment, real jobs. In terms of Act 22, importantly, most likely close to $1.3 billion related to investment in real estate have been attributed to Act 22 decrease holders for the last 4 years. So Act 22 invest in real estate, invest in tourism, invest in manufacturing, invest in technology, of course, blockchain, digital assets, digital currencies. It's something that we have seen on the rise for both Act 20 and Act 22 holders. And this is something we believe we should be continue to encourage in the future.
Everyone on our speaker list, with the exception of Nick Spanos, who should be moving here by January, and Jeff McCabe, actually lives in Puerto Rico. Nothing but legends.
Fantastic. Legends and locals that are part of Puerto Rico's success story. Of course, you know that now we have Act 60, the new incentives code. Two important things that I want to highlight on that law. Number one, we actually introduced language to support, the definition of commodities that is more aligned to digital assets, digital currency, blockchain, in terms of the exemptions associated with capital gains and, of course, the passive income. So this is something that we believe is one tool that will support the growth of these important energy sectors in Puerto Rico. Number two, very important, related to talent. We introduced a new incentive under Act 60, which is known as the Hard to Recruit Talent Incentive. It's directed towards employees, and the idea is that if you're a firm in Puerto Rico or a firm to be relocated to Puerto Rico or establish business in Puerto Rico, we're gonna provide a very attractive incentive, similar but different to what we have done with Act 22. There's different structure, but the goal is the same, is to attract these employees that otherwise will never come to Puerto Rico. So we're talking about bringing top-notch talent all over the world through this new incentive. The good news is that this is going to become effect, hopefully, before the end of this year, because the regulations associated with Act 60 already passed in the public comment phase. We are just organizing those comments. We're gonna submit to the Puerto Rico Department of State, and hopefully before December 31st, we're gonna have our new regulations for Act 60. And the Hard to Recruit Talent will be there. Very important too, this week, we're also gonna launch our Opportunity Zones program. And as starting this week, we're gonna start receiving applications for Opportunity Zones based on our state incentives related to Opportunity Zones. And before the end of this year, the online sports betting regulation will also be in place. We're pushing for online sports betting, esports, and fantasy leagues activities, so the regulation will be in place before the end of the year, and also a new joint permit regulation to streamline and better improve the permitting in Puerto Rico, hopefully also will be in place before the end of the year. So we've been very busy, regardless of all the noise and everything that has happened here. And of course, in the US, we just need to continue to be focused, on the targets for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a great place to invest, to live, to visit, to conduct business. And I just want to thank, each and everyone here and participating, online for the great support that you have given to Puerto Rico in the best of times and, of course, in the challenging times. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Laboy, you said a couple of key things that I'd like to talk about really quick before I pass the mic to my first speaker. One is the developments in the new laws in the gaming field, right, or something that I've been kind of discussing with you for a couple of years now, is a little island off the coast of Italy called Malta.
Yes.
They're 30 miles wide. They're 3 times smaller than Puerto Rico, but they have great infrastructure and great technology. And the reason being is because back in the year 2000, they actually made the change to make gambling, which at that time started to become accessible to the rest of the world through broadband. They started making laws conducive to attract those companies. So that's an obviously development in the gaming field. But what about the blockchain field, sir?
Well, certainly, there was kind of an interesting frenzy after the hurricanes in Puerto Rico, especially in the beginning of 2018. And this is something that I think that we just need to keep up the momentum, right? For me, one of the key aspects of ensuring that the blockchain as an emerging industry, a former emerging industry in Puerto Rico, really thrives is that we do the right bet on investment in Puerto Rico when it comes down to infrastructure, specifically the digital connectivity. And for the first time, and I will say that I think the incentives are there. I think that the talent is there or will be there. Now is a matter of strengthening infrastructure. And for the first time, probably in our history, we'll never have seen such a massive amount of federal dollars that will be invested in Puerto Rico over the next 10 years. We're probably the jurisdiction under the US flag with the most amount of money when it comes down to federal dollars for reconstruction. And part of that money is gonna go to the digital connectivity. We need just to ensure over the next 3 years, that's the timeline that we have seen so far, 3 things. Number one, the full deployment of 5G, broadband island-wide, and fiber optics, the loop that is being now under construction around Puerto Rico with contingent points of connection. If we achieve that, which I believe we will, because everything is right there to ensure that it happens, digital connectivity in Puerto Rico will be very different today as it will be in the next 3 years. That is the key. I think that incentives are there. I think that we will have more talent, with these new programs. It's a matter of ensuring that we have the infrastructure and the money and the capital is there. I think Puerto Rico will be completely transformed in the next 3 years in terms of the digital infrastructure. And of course, equally important, ensuring that the transformation of the electrical system, hand by hand, goes in terms of implementation, ensuring that we have the system of the future. So with that, I think that Puerto Rico, will be in a very good position, to tap this opportunity associated with blockchain and technology in general.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boy. We appreciate you participating today, sir. Stick around. We got beautiful content for you.